Worship leaders and worship techs, have you ever found yourself listening back to a live stream and wishing that you just had a more button? Well, I can help you out. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Blueprint Sounds. My name is Nathan Smith, and in this final installment of Don't Fear Effects in Church, we're going to talk about the more fader. How you can use a specific type of delay on your lead vocal to give it that extra something, right? All the other stuff, the reverbs and the delays, which you want to make sure that you go back and look at those because those are foundational. Those are really important, but this last one is where the fun begins. So before I get to that, make sure to go to blueprintsounds.com and get access to my free video, 5 Elements of a Full Sounding Worship Team. Because all the effects in the world will not help if your team doesn't know how to arrange themselves to sound their best. When they do that, mixing becomes a lot easier. So make sure you go get access to that on my website. Without any further ado, let's talk about the more fader. All right, so here we are, tip 4 for Don't Fear Effects in Church. And this tip is the secret weapon. So let's look at what we've had so far. We started with a room reverb, then we added a hall verb, and that allowed us to use a little bit less of the room reverb. Then we added a band delay, where we just had a quick slap back, just a short delay, but that really helped us achieve a sense of space. But to take it over the top, whereas all 3 of these have been more role players kind of sitting in the back, just giving a sense of size, this one is a little bit more obvious, so we have to be careful about how we use it. What I've done is I've routed just the lead vocal to what I'm calling long vox delay. Whereas this first delay for the band was an 8th note, and it was for everything, snare drum, et cetera, et cetera. This guy is only for the lead vocal, and you'll hear why very quickly. In fact, let me play it so you can hear what we're doing. Right on my heart and rise. Okay, so what is going on there? Here's what we're doing. This thing actually has 2 delays in one, and they're offset. So what I've got is a quarter note delay for one and an 8th note delay for another. I've done the same trick that I did with all of my reverbs and my delays, is I took out the bottom and I took out the top with the low cut and the high cut. But because they're different, it's going to give a little bit of like friction as one delay on one side of the stereo channel is doing one thing, and the other one on the right side is doing something totally different. But what I'm going to do, because that is very obvious when you hear it, is I'm going to automate, or I'm going to ride this fader as the song goes by, so that when it is at a low part of a song where delay really, really is noticeable, I'm going to bring it down so you're not going to hear it as much. I'm going to leave these alone. You'll hear these the whole time. But on this pre-chorus right here, it's very quiet and the drums aren't doing as much. So I want to keep this fader on the long vox delay down near 0 so we're not hearing that. But when it comes to the chorus, the guitar goes, the drums go, everybody's playing full out, and the notes are longer. That's where we can bring up the more fader. And this really is the more fader. As I bring it up, it gives that sense of space and size and makes the lead vocal feel fuller because there are literally more of those echoes. So let's start from the beginning. We'll start with our fader down, and then we'll bring it up as the chorus goes along. Right on my heart and rise in my heart. Come and make it your home. Deep calls out to deep. You alone are worthy of a living offering. Come and make it your home. The gates are opening. Glory in the highest. Let the earth receive her King. Come and make it your home. Cool. So by contrast, let's listen to what that vocal would sound like by itself, especially at the pre-chorus if I had it at that level. So that felt really good to me in the chorus, but let's see what that sounds like at the pre-chorus. Right on my heart I would say that would be noticeable. It's not that you can never do that, and you'll hear that on albums all the time where you'll hear that slapback of the long delay. But in this case, I didn't want that there, but I did want it in the chorus. In the chorus, since everything's busy, you're like, oh, that feels great. Did I hear an echo? I'm not sure. But in the pre-chorus, it really is noticeable. So if you try that out, it's a really fun thing to do because you're really in time, you're playing along with the music, riding that fader up and down. Bring it up for choruses, bring it down for sparse verses or a bridge that's low. Maybe you've got a bridge where the first one is quiet and the next ones get loud. We'll bring that fader down in the first bridge and then start to bring it up as the next bridges go along. You're playing along with the band and adding a lot. You just have to be careful where you add it. Hey, I hope that video helps you in your live stream mixes. That little trick is the fun one. Thanks for watching, and if you missed any of this series, please go back and check out the previous weeks on delay and reverb. They are a huge help, and they're all meant to be used together in one mix. Again, go to blueprintsounds.com and look at my 45-minute training, 5 elements of a full-sounding worship team, so that your band can fire on all cylinders as well as your mix. All right, God bless, and goodbye.